Hello and welcome to a new session. So in this session we will be dealing with functions in Python, and functions are, we can say that they are self-contained programs that can perform a particular task, and the task can be calculation, processing of data, generation of reports, etc. And once a function is created by the programmer for a specific task, it can be called any time to perform that specific task. And functions can be very useful while handling large amount of data sets. So this can be of two different types. They are built-in functions and user-defined functions. Built-in functions we have seen over the past few sessions, and they are range, print, items, round, sqrt, etc. And the next one is user-defined functions, and we will be dealing with user-defined functions in this session. And a user can build their own functions which can be called as user-defined functions. So let's see how does it work. First, let's have a look at the syntax. So define function name and parameters, below that statements. So the parameters can be anything, and the function can be with or without parameters, and we'll deal all these things once we come to Jupyter Notebook. We have already seen the syntax for defining a function. And a function definition can be given in 4 different types. So let's deal that one by one. Now let's deal with the first one, and that is function without return value and without arguments. So now let's see this. Let me define a function. Define message. So that's the name of my function. Print hello, and let me type attack. So reusability is the major functionality of a function. So let's see that how can we do that. In this specific function, you can see that I did not give any parameter or arguments. So this type can be called as a function without return value and without arguments. So now let me call this function message. You can see that hello text got displayed. Now if I want to get it displayed twice, I can do that. You can see that the message got displayed twice. Now let's see the second type, and that is functions without return value with arguments. And let's see one example. Let me use a keyword def for defining a function. Message m1 print m1. So in this case m1 is my parameter, and let me give my argument message hello. So this is my argument, and you can see that hello got displayed. You can see the same with input function. So let's try that. m1 is equal to input, enter, let's say enter a number. And let me enter a number, and let's display that message m. You can see that the number got displayed. Now let's move to the third type, that is functions with return value and without arguments. So let's see one example. def message, and let me use the function return, and I want to display the result of 6 multiplied by 4. So let me store the value in m1. Print m1. So let me explain this. Here I am using the function name return, and you can see that the arguments are not there, and I want to store the result of 6 multiplied by 4 in m1, and m1 is equal to message. So when I type m1 or when I use the print function along with m1, I can see the result. So let's see that. You can see that the result got displayed. So now let's move to the fourth type, that is functions with return value and with arguments. So let's move to an example. def message n1 and n2, and n1 and n2 are my parameters. Let me assign a new variable in the name of m. So m is equal to n1 into n2 return m. So the value of this process is stored in the variable m, and let me declare another variable in the name of n. So in this variable I am assigning the values for these parameters. So these are my arguments 2 and 4. 2 and 4 are my arguments, and n1 and n2 are my parameters. So if I display n, I would get the result. So let's see the result, and the result is 8. User-defined functions will be very useful while dealing with huge datasets, and we will be dealing with datasets in the coming sessions. So that's all for this session. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.